What's going on, the people who watch the show and listen? I appreciate everybody. Today is Wednesday, of course. It is July 23rd, I believe. Yeah, that's what we're going to call it. And this is episode 3. Still here after 3 weeks. Isn't that great? I'm weary to start the show because unfortunately I had to start on some kind of sad things. But I mean, let's just rip the band-aid off, you know? That's what we should do. Let's do that. Let's see what we got here. We're gonna start with music. Sad news in music and entertainment this week. The great Ozzy Osbourne, known as the lead singer of Black Sabbath, has passed away. This is one of those artists that my dad would play in the car all the time. And just like any other dad classic rock thing, you know, he'd play that in the car, and a bunch of other like AC/DC and Guns N' Roses and Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne and specifically Crazy Train. My brother, when he used to play football, we started calling him Crazy Train, and we still call him Train to this day. An icon, definitely, in music, in entertainment. The Osbourne show was crazy, like one of the like really first early reality TV shows. And I mean, yeah, just iconic and very sad loss. So rest in peace, Ozzy. Moving on to movies and shows, more sad news with Malcolm Jamal Warner passing away. I think about the day before Ozzy had passed away. Malcolm Jamal Warner was known best as Theo from The Cosby Show. I know The Cosby Show has a lot of bad energy around it because of Mr. Cosby. So it sucks that a lot of people, I feel like, especially the new generation, probably won't be able to see his best work and the most iconic work he's had because people won't be able to see that show. That's really unfortunate. But he was in the Cosby Show. He was in Community for a little bit. He was in Dexter for an episode playing Rita's lawyer. Malcolm and Eddie. A bunch of other things. Oh, he was in the O.J. Simpson biopic series. He played AC, which was really good characterization there. So, just a lot of iconic losses this week, unfortunately. So, I don't really want to talk about death so much on the show, but I mean, these two were just so impactful. I think that it was hard not to speak about them. So, rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner. In slightly less sad news, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert will be canceled by CBS and Paramount. The Late Show is one of those shows that has inspired me to do this, is talk to a microphone and talk to a camera and everything. When I first, was even just being a kid, I remember when all the Late Show hosts were changing, like Jay Leno was supposed to be switching to Conan O'Brien, and then switched to Jimmy Fallon, and then Seth Meyers came in and took Jimmy Fallon's late night show, and then the Late Show had David Letterman, and then Letterman left to go do his own thing, and then Stephen Colbert took the heel there. It's one of those things that's impacted me a lot. Like it's inspired me to want to do anything, to either be on those shows or host one of those shows or anything like that. Like that's one of just my dreams, to do something like that. So to see one of them really get canceled and not even replace him as a host, they're just canceling the Late Show altogether. It's just one of those staples in entertainment and TV that is just, that medium is dying, and it's because of forms of technology like this and podcasting and TikToks and anything short form and very quick. It's those type of shows are losing their edge, while they still get the top billing and A-list celebrities to come on their shows, they're not exactly holding people's attention because they're an hour and a half long at late at night, and people would much rather be on YouTube or on their podcast app or TikTok or Reels or Shorts or whatever it is. It's just sad to see that go away. But so I wish Stephen Colbert all the best. I'm sure he'll do something great later on, maybe a podcast or something else like that. But best of luck to you, Stephen. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for the inspiration. Off of the sad news, back to the regular news. The creator of Breaking Bad put out this poster and didn't give a name of what this is. All they really said was it's going to be some sort of psychological sci-fi thing, and it's going to be on Apple TV. And honestly, I think this is really smart marketing, because putting from the creator of Breaking Bad, if you have seen Breaking Bad, is great marketing. I'm already sold. I don't know what this is. This looks super interesting. It looks like some sort of petri dish with a smile drawn in it. Like, I'm sold. I don't know what the thing's called. I don't know who's in it. I don't know anything, but I'm sold on it. I definitely want to see whatever this is going to be. I'm assuming it's an Apple TV Plus series, not really a movie, but we shall see. So I got good hopes for this. Happy Gilmore 2 will be releasing this week. I just recently watched Happy Gilmore, the original one, again. I actually have a Funko Pop of Happy Gilmore right here. Big Adam Sandler fan myself. Happy Gilmore is one of those iconic movies from the 90s that basically cemented Adam Sandler's career, and he's doing a second one. Bad Bunny is right there playing his caddy, which I think is really funny. People like MJF of AEW, Becky Lynch from WWE. I think I saw that Shaq was going to be in it. Eminem's supposed to be in it. There's a lot of people in it. Julie Benz is supposed to come back and reprise her role. Shooter McGavin's back. A lot of people are in it, so I'm looking forward to see that. That would make Happy Gilmore my movie recommendation of the week, to prepare yourself for the new sequel coming out. I believe it's still on Netflix, but if not, you just Google it and find where it's at. But the Happy Gilmore 2 will be coming out on Netflix, so I think they put it on there so people could watch it. But definitely recommend this movie. If you're not hip to Adam Sandler, he does these movies with kind of the same people over and over again. Like, he has this little group of people that he works with, and really good. Happy Gilmore, Big Daddy, bunch of other movies. So I would definitely recommend anything from Adam Sandler's catalog, besides Jack and Jill. Don't watch that. Moving into Marvel movies, the Fantastic Four movie we're releasing this week. I'm very excited to see this. I'm a big fan of Pedro Pascal. I'm a huge fan of The Mandalorian and a bunch of other things he's done. I think he was in Game of Thrones. He's been in a bunch of stuff, but also the Thing is played by Ebon Moss-Bachrach, who was in The Bear. And then Johnny Storm is played by, his name is escaping me. Joseph Quinn, I believe is his name. He was in Stranger Things and some other things. I'm not familiar with Vanessa Kirby, who plays Miss Fantastic there, but all these are really good actors. Looking forward to this. I watched the first Fantastic Four, like the 2003 movie or whatever it was. And there's supposed to be a lot of cameos from the old actors plus actors from an unreleased 1997 version. And then they're supposed to introduce the Silver Surfer and Galactus. So all that's supposed to be really cool. On the heels of that, they are bringing them into Fortnite. So that kind of brings us into gaming territory there. But all four of them are coming to Fortnite on the day it releases. It releases this Friday, and the Fortnite skins will be available the same day. I'm not sure which. If anything, I feel like I might get the Thing. I don't know if I'm gonna get any other of these. That the Johnny one is just kind of basic. Besides the fire thing, the fire thing is kind of cool. And then I saw that the Mr. Fantastic pickaxe is going to be his like stretching hand, which I think is really cool. Other than that, not really too interested in getting those. I might get the thing. We'll see how it is, but they look really cool. Potpourri, anything goes. Again, this is just kind of stuff that doesn't really fit into any of my categories that I have, and this is one of them. The TikTok company is going to make a US based version called M2 or M. It's either been M or M2. It's been basically a rumor, but apparently it's supposed to launch on September 5th. I guess this is their compromise for the whole TikTok ban thing that they're trying to do. I find it all really annoying that I feel like, it seems like the same people who are making the app are going to make M2, but then they're trying to ban them because of who owns it. It's like this weird circle of weirdness, and I don't know what's going on, but new app sounds cool to me, especially if it has the same algorithm as TikTok, because I think TikTok's algorithm is one of the best. Some other things just kind of don't read you too well. Like I feel like Meta kind of gets you just weird, and then Twitter can get you really weird. But nice focus to see on what that's going to be. I hope it does well. I hope it's just like TikTok, but just like it just says M2 on it, like a rebrand of TikTok. Basically, that's kind of what my hope for this. We can move into football. There are Troy Polamalu amount of days until the start of the NFL season. I don't know why I didn't think of just putting player numbers before. I did that kind of last year on social media. I just kind of posted people's with their jersey number being the how many days. But I'm going to keep doing that for the show. And it's 43 days. Almost a little over a month away. And then I feel like next week is the Hall of Fame game. So we're going to be talking about the Hall of Fame game a little bit next week. So this happened right after I stopped recording last week, was that Von Miller was announcing that he was going to be signed to the Commanders. The Commanders have a weird way of signing a bunch of players that I really like that don't play for the Commanders to the Commanders. They had gotten Adrian Peterson at one point. They went and got Jason Taylor at one point. They got Bobby Wagner currently. They got Austin Eckler currently. And I liked all those guys before they came here. And now they're all here. And it's really crazy. It'll be a 1-year deal with the Commanders for $6.1 million. But it's worth up to 10.5 with incentives. So if it like gets like a certain amount of sacks or something like that, then he'll get more money essentially. Certain amount of tackles, certain amount of sacks. It all just depends on what they agreed upon. But I like that deal. Especially for, this isn't the Von Miller that won the Super Bowl MVP back in Super Bowl 50 10 years ago. This is a very different Von Miller. He's a seasoned Von Miller, but so he'll have a lot of experience and advice to give to these younger guys that we have, like a Frankie Louvu or any of the guys that we had drafted, like that. So that's going to be really dope. And pairing him alongside Bobby Wagner is really cool to see. So there's going to be a lot of expertise. I think we just got like not voted, but we're like the number one oldest team now, especially with Von Miller, because they put that out like before he signed, and now he's like bumped up the average like way more. It's kind of crazy. I really like this though. I think it's a really good deal for someone who just has a lot of expertise and a lot of experience to kind of provide to younger guys, and it's a good number, and I don't think it affects too much, especially with the next guy, Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin still is not signed. He actually sat out of training camp yesterday. I'm not sure if they had training camp today, but he officially is holding out for a new deal. I am still on the Terry McLaurin wave. I still think it has everything to do with the amount of years they probably want him. Maybe he wants to be there for 5 and they want him to be there for 2. I don't know. But I don't think it's really a money issue. I think it's more of just how long they want to keep him because he is turning 30. It just sucks that we're still here like 3 weeks later and I'm still talking about this. I can't wait to come in here and throw a party for the fact that we signed Terry McLaurin for 4 years and $120 million or whatever it is. This story was interesting to me Terry Bridgewater got banned from Florida high school sports like committee, whatever it is that runs the high school sports in Florida, for using his own money to help out players. So how they basically put it is that he would, let me start from the beginning. Terry Bridgewater retired, semi-retired, quote unquote, from the NFL and went back to coach his alma mater's high school football team. And in the process of that, he, I guess, was paying for things like Uber rides and, you know, whatever it was to help them practice and stuff like that. I'd like to address the fact that from what I could find out from different conversations, it sounds like this school is in a kind of not so great area. Like it's Miami something. It's something not, this school is not well off. The school wasn't able to pay for field paint, and he bought stuff like field paint for the field, and Uber rides to get these players to and from practice and stuff like that. These are the things he was paying for. It wasn't like he was buying anything nefarious. It was all things to help out the team. And I guess for some reason stuff like that is illegal. I guess the either the school or some sort of committee company is supposed to be paying for this kind of stuff. That doesn't make sense to me. That kind of throws me off that all he was kind of doing. He left an NFL career. He came back after the high school season has ended to go play for the Lions, and be there for their playoff run. And he literally left the NFL to go coach them, to help them out and bring, you know, and they actually won like a state championship or something. Like he turned that whole thing around, and they banned him because he helped everyone out, like buying field paint and buying Uber rides. Like I don't understand that. That doesn't compute to me. I kind of hope they reinstate it. I kind of hope they kind of learn the error of their ways and fix that, because that's just plain wrong. Drew Brees made such an impact on the Christmas games last year that Netflix is bringing him back. I think this is really cool. Drew Brees is one of my favorite quarterbacks when he was playing, and I thought he did a pretty good job. I don't remember which game he actually did, but it's one of those things where, like, if someone's doing a good job, you don't notice it, and then if someone is doing a bad job, you really notice it. And I didn't notice anything. So if that's what happened, that's what happened. I think he did really well. And I just like having those notable guys who know a lot about the game being in the booth like that. Like Terry Bradshaw and, you know, John Madden and any of these guys like that who really know the game. Tom Brady's doing really well. Who's another guy? Who's the guy for the Cowboys? I can't remember his name now. He's good too. Not Troy Aikman, but the other guy. I can't remember his damn name. It's okay. He does really well too. He like will predict plays and stuff like that. I think it's really sick. Tony Romo. That's his name. Tony Romo does really well. He will predict plays and stuff like that. So that's cool. So shout out to Drew Brees. Congrats on getting the Netflix deal. We can move on to wrestling now. TNA Slammiversary. I wasn't expecting to want to watch this, and then it was announced that AJ Styles was going to return, and AJ Styles came up in TNA and really like put that place on his back, and then they announced after 11 years he was going to return. So we all kind of like talked about it in the group chat. We're like, oh yeah, we're tuning in. So I invited my buddy Jeff over. He came. We had some fun there. Got to see the Hardy Boys in a ladder match. That was really cool. This pay-per-view made me really want to tune into TNA. I believe they're on Thursdays on like Access TV or something like that. And I'm really excited to see that. The other thing that kind of was pointed out to me during this was when Trick Williams retained the TNA championship, and Trick Williams is an NXT wrestler from WWE, and then JC Jane was in a winner takes all match with Masha Slamovich for the women's championship, and JC Jane won. And JC Jane is also an NXT wrestler from WWE. The writing on the wall feels like they're going to buy TNA. WWE is going to buy TNA. It just feels like that. Like ever since they've been working together, they've had some really cool moments and stuff like that. But it just feels like this is where this is headed, because it kind of just made TNA look like a secondary company. And to me, when you're working with a company this closely, I don't think that's the motive. I don't think that's the goal. And when you literally give two wrestlers from a different company your world championships, I mean, that says something. That says a lot. And I just feel like it's really weird, you know? Like we've seen tons of like AEW and New Japan things for different titles and stuff like that, and I don't think any of them have ever changed, because they're not supposed to change. Like an AEW guy is not supposed to have a New Japan title. It's just not really, unless they go do something in New Japan, because they're a lot more cool with the whole Forbidden Door thing than WWE is. But I just don't feel like you're supposed to be holding a title like that, you know, unless there's some sort of goal that I'm not seeing. But I just think it makes TNA kind of look like like the little brother company, and I didn't like that, especially when I'm watching a TNA pay-per-view. It was interesting. I had a lot of fun watching it. We got to hang out on Discord with a bunch of our friends and watch it, and I had a lot of fun. Drew McIntyre was, I believe, talking with Logan Paul, was it? About the Travis Scott situation. Apparently Travis Scott is done with WWE. Like they don't want him back, and he doesn't want to be back. I think it was a matter of I think he got into it and realized it wasn't what he wanted to do, I guess, and just decided it wasn't cool enough for him. We had a conversation about Jelly Roll last week, and I think this was kind of the thing that I missed. Was there's celebrities that do this, which is come in here and just kind of do whatever they want, and that's really annoying. I still don't feel like Jelly Roll is one of those guys, and if I'm wrong, I will admit I'm wrong. But as far as I can see right now, Jelly Roll seems to be trending more to where Bad Bunny kind of laid in. Travis Scott kind of walked around with The Rock and John Cena for a little bit, carrying this title that Triple H gave to him, and that was kind of it. And then he, you know, in the main event of WrestleMania or whatever it was, he punched Cody Rhodes in the face and gave him a black eye. Like, that's all he did. So Drew McIntyre was basically like, good riddance, get out of here. Like, no one wants you. And honestly, like, when it comes to celebrities doing that type of stuff, that's where I'm agreeing. Like, get him out of here. He didn't do anything. He didn't benefit anything. And honestly, he screwed up the main event of WrestleMania. And that's what another thing that Drew McIntyre had said. And I just don't... Celebrities don't need to be doing that type of stuff. If you're going to come here and wrestle and everything like that, I think that's really cool. Again, Bad Bunny, Jelly Roll, you know, Action Bronson did it in AEW. All that stuff's cool. But coming in here and messing with the situation, The Rock had a hand in that stuff too, for messing all that up. But Travis Scott was also there and added a lot of different elements that really just didn't need to be added. Good riddance for celebrities getting out of WWE like that. But I'm all for the Bad Bunnies and Jelly Rolls for now coming in and actually wrestling. WWE has been posting teasers for the Unreal documentary series that seems like it's like all based around Royal Rumble to WrestleMania area. They've highlighted guys like Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes and Rhea Ripley. I believe Bianca was also highlighted, but this is going to come out on Netflix. I like to see stuff like this when it's not in the moment. I don't want to see what's happening right now behind the scenes with the wrestlers because of the whole kayfabe thing. If you ruin the kayfabe right now with things that are happening right now, it's going to ruin the illusion, basically, you know. But with things that happened like 3-6 months ago, that doesn't matter to me. Like I'm all for seeing how that culminated and how that came about. So I'm really interested to see this. I like seeing stuff like that. And in wrestling too, there's not a whole lot of that. Like you had like the being the elite stuff that the Bucks would do behind the scenes like YouTube vlogs and stuff like that, but like this is like for real, like camera crew. Like they showed a clip of like Speed at the Royal Rumble and stuff like that. Different things like that. Like that's the stuff I would like to see in this sort of time frame. I don't want to see this stuff like we're going into SummerSlam now. I don't want to see any behind the scenes stuff of like Jelly Roll and Drew McIntyre like hanging out, even though they're supposed to be wrestling here pretty soon. You know, that's the kind of thing I don't want to see that stuff right now. I would like to see, you know, how Cody Rhodes came about losing the title to John Cena and everything like that. I do want to see that type of stuff. So I'm excited to see how this works and how this goes. I'm really excited about this. WWE just announced a deal with Fandango to bring PLEs to select movie theaters starting with SummerSlam, and then Regal will be the anchor brand. So I'm really excited about this because AEW had done this with AMC theaters. I'm sure they did with other theaters too, but the one I went to was AMC. And that was a lot of fun because it almost felt like you were at a wrestling event, except it was just on a big screen. And you had like the crowd environment with a bunch of people in the crowd and they're all getting into things and chanting and everything like that, like we're at the show. And you don't have to pay this like big ticket price, especially for WWE ticket prices. You just pay like a $25 fee to get in and you get to watch it with a bunch of other wrestling fans. I think that's really cool. And there isn't enough of that in the world, I feel like. Fandango and Regal are good companies. There's actually a Regal theaters right down the road from me. So I don't think I'm personally going to be going to SummerSlam to do this, but I think maybe for like the next one, maybe like Clash of Paris or something like that, maybe I'll look into going to one of those to see. Also, the best part about that too is you get to meet other wrestling fans and be around other wrestling fans that live kind of near you, you know? So I think that's going to be really cool. That's going to be a really cool experience to see WWE stuff. The kind of the downturn of this is the price, really, because if you have Peacock with WWE to watch the PLEs are free. You just have to pay for the Peacock subscription, which is like $7 or something like that. But with this, you have to pay $25 to get into the theater, and then you got to pay for popcorn and drink and whatever else that you get at the theater. And so that's kind of the downturn, whereas the opposite angle with the AEW was that the AEW was like $50, but then the ticket was $25. So there was kind of like a balance there. I was like, okay, I could spend the $50 and just sit on my couch, or I could spend $25 and be around a bunch of wrestling fans. So there is that. Now, I'm not saying WWE that you should charge for PLEs. That's not what I want you to do. I want to keep that Peacock subscription. I'm just saying. But there is that little bit of a downside. But if you want that environment and you want that extra level of basically fandom, it is a lot of fun. I've done it a bunch of times with AEW pay-per-views a couple years ago, and I think it's really fun. So, and that is it. Yeah, this is kind of a short episode this week. There was a lot of talks. There was a lot of things to talk about, but just, you know, wasn't a whole lot of, I guess, huge conversations to be had. Still waiting on Terry McLaurin to get signed. SummerSlam is going to be next week, so we're not quite ready to make any sort of predictions on what's going on. SummerSlam does look like it's going to be really good, though. I'm very excited to see how that's going to work, especially with the whole 2-night thing. When WrestleMania did that, it was kind of crazy, and now with SummerSlam doing it, I kind of hope they don't make it a huge pattern. But we can talk about it a little bit more next week. That's pretty much it. I'm going on vacation next week. I will be here still, but I'm going to be leaving literally tomorrow and heading out, and I will talk to you guys then. You guys have a good rest of your week.